Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fleet Nav Systems Thursday live stream. Today, I am going to be interviewing my colleague Dan, who has been kind of heading up this initiative we have on a new add-in that Fleet Nav Systems is bringing to the marketplace shortly here, the Geotab marketplace. And we're going to talk about what the Geotab marketplace is, what Fleet Receipts is. Dan, are you on the call with me today? Can you hear me?
I can, Joy. Thanks for having me.
Sure, yeah, thanks for being here. Uh, so, for anyone who doesn't already know, the Geotab marketplace is it's a place online where you can go, and it's much like the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. You can just go and see some of um, the different kinds of integration partners and solutions that you have that you can add on to your out of the box MyGeotab and Geotab Drive solutions. Um, so that being said, Dan, thanks for being here. Like I said, can you just kind of start us off by telling us what Fleet Receipts is?
Absolutely. So Fleet Receipts is a simple add-on that we created that gives the drivers who are utilizing Geotab Drive the ability to take images, capture photos of whatever they want, whether it's a hotel receipt, a fuel receipt, maybe a log, accident damage, anything like that. They can take that in the field from Geotab Drive, and that image will be available to the admins in a matter of seconds inside their database. So that image can be exported and it can be saved and backed up maybe for possible future fuel audits. If it's a fuel receipt, they can do whatever they want with that image, but it will be there. They can delete it. We can also restore any deleted images. So it simply brings back images from all of your drivers out in the field into one centralized location where you can then deal with them accordingly.
Yeah, and can you kind of give us an example of just how this came about and what we were trying to solve in making this add-in happen?
Yeah, we talked to a number of customers who were chasing down receipts. Some of them were rental and leasing businesses, so they had numerous accounts and customers and drivers from each of those accounts that they would have to track down receipts for. Sometimes they flew out the window, sometimes they just lost them, the dog ate them, whatever it may be. There were always issues or costs associated with mailing and stamps, even back to that one central place where they're dealt with. And then from there, if they're fuel receipts, they have to be either photocopied and stored somewhere. It becomes a process. And so to make that process simpler, we just thought of developing something that would sit in Geotab Drive somewhere where the drivers are already going to be operating out of and working in. And how can we get that back to the admin so they can deal with it however they need to? So through some work with a few customers and some trial and error, we are left with fleet receipts.
That's great. Um, can you explain this from a driver's perspective, what that's going to look like when they're actually using it to take pictures?
Yeah, so a driver who is using Geotab Drive, it's going to be a tab inside that main dashboard window inside Geotab Drive. So where they're recording their hours of service, where they're checking their availability, editing their logs, things like that, there's going to be a button there that they can tap, and that will have a link for them. They'll open up a window which will bring up fleet receipts and allow them to add an image. So they can hit a plus button at that point, look at the image, take it. If it's not a good image, they can start over. If it is, they can simply check the check button, and it takes, like I said, 4 to 5 seconds the most for that image to process and get pushed back to the database. And at that point, the driver can simply hit the back arrow, and they're back inside Geotab Drive, and they can continue to do what they're doing.
That's great. So very minimal interruption there while they're using the Drive app. That's great. Um,
Very simple, yeah.
yeah. And what does that look like from an admin's perspective in my Geotab?
Inside MyGeotab, there's going to be a tab on the left-hand side, just like where you click the map tab. There's going to be a fleet receipts tab there with the camera icon, and that will open up the fleet receipts page within their database. So there's not a double sign on. This isn't a separate website they have to go to. Everything's already going to be inside Geotab where they're working from. From there, they can choose to expand the calendar. They can pick the date ranges for receipts they're searching for. They can query receipts based on that driver's username or maybe the date period they're looking at. So Everything's going to be right there and searchable, and you can query anything they want to narrow down. And from there, they can view the receipt. It'll pop up in a large box, and they can see it. Oh, yep, I know where that needs to be stored, and they can download it, and then, like I said, back it up anywhere in their system or whatever their process is from there on their end. So it's very easy. We're not signing into multiple places. We're trying to make everything as convenient as possible and flow as simply as possible.
Cool. Real quick before we go on, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's watching today. Thank you all so much for being here. Joan Ark was first today. It looks like Sam, Sarah, and Pat are both on here today. So thank you all for being on here. Um, Dan, I do have a question for you on here. Because there are other solutions on the Geotab marketplace that can take pictures and things. Uh, what makes Fleet Receipts different from other solutions that have similar features like what we're offering here?
That's a good question. So there are other solutions out there that allow individuals to take pictures and have that transferred to some way, shape, or form back through to the office. But typically, we see these as features in larger packages. So whether it's some type of business enterprise system that they've purchased, they're going to be much larger packages, and this is just going to be one aspect of that. So it's difficult to go out and find the similar solution and just a solution. It's typically going to be bundled up in something else that makes it unaffordable to those smaller to medium sized businesses that are maybe just looking to find this single functionality in a solution.
Great, yeah.
So it makes it just more affordable. It's easier, it's built in, and it's going to be affordable for those smaller businesses that aren't looking for those are large enterprise systems at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely seen some of those where, we want this one feature, but it's baked in with all these other features and it's just outside of our budget. So, great.
Yeah.
Um, so how fast can Fleet Receipts be set up in MyGeotab? For example, if I'm an admin and I'm looking at the feature in the morning, is this something that I could have set up in my system like by that afternoon?
Absolutely, especially for our customers who already have that line of communication with them. It would be a matter of an email or two back and forth. So we could have that set up in a matter of minutes. If you're a different reseller and a customer is interested in this, they would reach out through the marketplace or directly to that reseller, and they would have to find our contact information. So it might take a little longer, but I would say same day we would be able to implement that solution.
Great. And we mentioned, I think we mentioned at the beginning of this that this is something that's going to be on the Geotab marketplace soon. Um, I know we've been working on getting it up there. Do you have an anticipated date that should be available on the Geotab marketplace?
I am thinking June, July at the latest. We just finished up the last changes we had to make that are going to be vetted in the next couple of weeks by Geotab, and then it's just getting on their calendar. So we are beyond the final stages and just waiting to get this launched. So I would say June, July at the very latest. It is also fully functional right now, Joy. So if there's people out there that are interested in testing it, we
Mm-hmm.
can let them pilot that until it does go launched live in the marketplace. So this is a fully functional solution, and it's working right now. People are wanting to see it now.
That's great. So if somebody is interested in Fleet Receipts prior to that marketplace launch, what's the best way for them to get that into their or into their system to try it out?
I would reach out to our support team here at Fleet Nav Systems. So support at fleetnavsystems.com would be the fastest and easiest way to get that through.
Great. Mark from Trucking Answers is in the chat today too. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. Uh, so on to some of the stuff that everybody's gonna want to know here, Dan. Sales and billing. How much does Fleet Receipts cost? Is that a straight up sort of thing, or is that something determined by the resellers? I suppose since it's going to be in the marketplace, it's more of a one-time sort of or monthly fee.
Yeah, so it's going to be a monthly fee, and that price is going to be determined by the reseller. So I can say it's going to be no more than a couple of dollars. It's very low cost, and that's going to be based on individual usage per month. So we are able to track from your database what users shared a receipt, whether it was once or 100 times. And we'll simply count the number of users that did that, and you'll be charged based on that fee times that number of users, which I hope, which is likely going to be around a couple dollars, depending on what reseller you're working with. So I don't know if that answers it completely or 100%, but the best way to find out pricing is contact your reseller, and we can get that to you pretty quick.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, even just a ballpark, knowing a couple dollars versus, we're not looking into the tens or twenties of dollars for this sort of a thing. That's great.
No, no, absolutely not.
And billing, is that something that would also be done through the reseller then?
It would.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. That's pretty much all of the questions I have as far as fleet receipts go. Do you have anything else you'd like to add on the fleet receipt side that people should know about, or you think would be good to mention?
No, I'm excited to get it expanded out to different regions. I know we've been working there. Joy's been finding some contacts for me in other continents. Right now, it has been tested in Canada as well as the United States. So we're in North America right now and hoping to get some tests done in other areas so we can expand its capabilities and where it's going to be usable. And we don't foresee any issues of fleet receipts not working anywhere a Go9 is working. So other than that, we're excited to see it get launched in the marketplace finally, and we look forward to being able to introduce this to all the resellers in the Geotab world.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited because this is our first add-in that Fleet Nav Systems will have on the marketplace. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And then as far
Yeah.
as if anybody has any questions on the Fleet Receipts solution, feel free to put a comment in the video below. If you're watching this after the fact, I monitor those very closely and would be happy to make sure we can get you an answer as best as we can there. Also, the link to the Fleet Receipts website, the web page on the fleetnavsystems.com website, is also in the video's description below, so you can click on that. I think we've got a few screenshots and things in there, so you can see what it looks like. Dan, just to wrap some of this stuff up, I'm wondering if you want to maybe talk a little bit about Fleet Nav Systems. Just kind of do some fun stuff here at the end. What would you say Fleet Nav Systems sets Fleet Nav Systems apart from other Geotab resellers?
Oh, I'd have to say easily our support. So every reseller handles things, from contracts to cost to support differently. We're left that freedom, and so what we've decided here at Fleet Nav Systems to do is to have a full support team. Those individuals are knowledgeable in hours of service. This is what they look at every day. Sarah has experience not only as a driver but a manager of drivers of a private fleet. So we have a lot of great people in this company that every day are learning new things. So we understand where drivers are coming from, understand where managers are coming from, what they need to look at. Our ability to create custom reports, even to develop integrations to meet those customers' needs. You're not going to find that level of support really anywhere else in the Geotab world, and I would say the telematic industry as a whole. So fantastic support and fantastic people behind that support.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a good team here. So, uh, Dan, if somebody's looking for a Geotab reseller, if they happen to be listening to this and they don't actually have a Geotab reseller yet, why do you think FleetNav would be a good fit? And if there's a particular kind of fleet that might be best for best fit or something, maybe throw that in there too.
Well, again, our support's what separates us from everybody else. When you're looking to purchase something, we're evaluating really three components, the price, the product, the service. You can only pick two. We know Geotab's, one of the best products out there, if not the best. So your decision comes down to price and service. And up front, it's difficult to purchase hardware up front or, commit to that. It may be a little more expensive a system, but on the offside, you're going to be buying service, a level of service you're not going to get anywhere else. And in my opinion, your workers, your employees, your people's time is what's going to pay for that system in the long run and save you money. And again, just the ability to create these reports, what you and Mike do, what everyone else does here in the front lines, the phones with Sarah and Troy, it's the interaction, the communication, the dedication you're going to get from Fleet Nav is going to be unparalleled to anything else you'll find. So I really think that's our staple, our foundation of what makes this place a really good place to not only work at, but be a customer of.
Yeah, yeah, we all know who you are when you call us usually, so and that's a good thing, I promise.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
call in and it's like, oh, I know exactly who that is and which company they're with and all of that.
Right. It's not strangers, it's not a call center.
No,
It's conversations you want to have.
definitely. Uh, Dan, we've got a question from Sarah in the chat. She asks, can you categorize receipts within the app, such as fuel, bills of lading, etc.?
We cannot do that right now, but that's not the first time I think we've been asked to do something like that. So our goal right now is to get in the marketplace and then see how things go from there. As we get feedback from our customers, similar, just like that, we will take them into consideration in further development. And I can say that is something on our list of possible future, I guess, updates.
Yeah, that's a great question, Sarah. And if anybody else has any other questions before we totally wrap this up, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll make sure we get to them. And again, if you catch this after the fact, just put them in the comments below and we'll take care of that. Joan says that Fleet Nav is a place where everybody knows your name. Yes, Norm, something like that. So Dan, I don't know how many of these podcast live streams you've followed through all the way to the end, but we have a bit of a fun thing we do at the end here, just to keep something for everybody who actually sticks around, just to make it fun. So I'd love to get you to weigh in on some of the most controversial questions of our time, which one of them is, which is your favorite animal, cats or dogs?
That's a tough one. Right now, where I'm at in my life, I would say cats, and if I could choose other people's dogs, if that was an option, I would say that. But with kids and in and out of the house, the cats are so much easier. You just throw some food out, and they're fine. They don't break anything. They're clean. Dogs are a little more work. Find someone I'm willing to watch when you travel. So, for me right now, I would have to say cats.
Yep, I would definitely have to agree with you. I get to dog sit for a lot of people, and so I get to borrow their dogs, and I get my dog fix, and I remember why cats are so much easier to take care of. I hope.
Yeah, I mean they really are.
I don't know if Mark from Trucking Answers is still here, but I hope he got to stick around for this one, because usually when he's in the chat, the person answers dogs, and he's definitely on the cats side of that one.
You'll have to rewatch it, re-listen.
That's right. And then the other one on here is, of course, which one do you think is the superior franchise, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Superior, I don't know, but what I enjoy more is Star Wars. We just actually watched, I think it's the last one in the chronological order. We've been doing that for a while as a family, so I think we have one more left, and then we've made through all of them. So I never have really sat down and watched Star Trek at all. So I can't say one is superior over the other, but I enjoy Star Wars.
Cool. Very cool. Nice. Well, I'm glad you've been getting to at least watch through the Star Wars ones. I always find those ones fun to sit down and watch too. So.
Yeah, I'm still confused. It dozed off a few times, so there's still some gaps in the timeline of what exactly is going on. But I have a better understanding now. I can keep up with conversations with the children.
Definitely. Well, if you ever want to give me a call, like after the live stream, and chat about Star Wars lore, so I can clear some of those up for you where you dozed off, let me know. I would feel comfortable
Absolutely.
being able to do that. And Mark from Trucking Answers is still here, and his choice of the franchise is Star Trek. So he did tell you though that you're 1 for 2. So
okay.
And Joan
right.
says yeah for cats. So excellent, awesome.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't look like we actually have any other questions about fleet receipts here. So thanks for your time today, Dan. It was great to have you on the show and get to chat about this one.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's my first one, so I'm glad I was able to do it with you.
Yeah, definitely. So, everybody else who's been watching, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching and sticking around up until the end here. And we'll keep you posted on the next time we have another one of these live streams. Thanks again, Dan, and we'll see you guys later.